With Gary out, do you expect it to just be a one-game thing?
Yeah. Hopefully, doesn't appear to be too bad.
With Steph back tonight, you talked about giving him a rest. I was wondering, as a coach, how do you manage trying to get him enough rest and not wearing him down towards the end of the season, but also with this playoff push? How do you balance that?
It's gotten really difficult to do that because of the rules that are in place with the league. It's not as simple as, hey, that guy's exhausted. He needs a night off. So there's a whole protocol to it these days. So you do what you can to protect the player, protect the team, and you do it within the protocol that the league has set up.
Coach, you remember playing the Raptors obviously back in January. Very competitive game, of course. Obviously, big moves from both teams since trade deadline. What are your expectations playing them now? Well,
we got to play better. I know that. That was a tough night for us. They played really well down the stretch and knocked us off. We know they're coming in here playing at a high level defensively. I think 7th ranked defense in the league over the last 10 games or so. Really forcing turnovers, putting a lot of pressure on the ball. So we can't take them lightly. I know that. We've got to be ready to play, and I think it'll be a good game for us because the turnovers have kind of crept back into our game after a few weeks of really getting that under control. And tonight is a game where if we're loose with the ball, they will pounce on us.
Obviously, as I just mentioned, big moves. Jimmy Butler was one of them. You guys are 15-2, I believe, with him in the lineup. How has he been able to acclimate so fast, and you guys see success so quickly with him here with such a big piece?
IQ, basketball IQ, toughness, competitiveness. I mean, those are the marks of great players. And when you happen to have that package in a body like his with that kind of strength, it all makes sense. The game makes sense to Jimmy, and when he's on the floor, that translates to other guys. So it's been fun to watch.
I know Gary's out tonight, and obviously always fluid, but relative health at this juncture this season, how significant is that as you guys prep for a push towards the postseason?
Yeah, it's a big deal. I mean, obviously every team is dependent on health, and there's a lot of luck involved in this every year. So you try to manage things as best you can and hope that in a case like this with Gary, it's just a one night thing, and then he's ready to go. But you never know, so you got to manage the guys as best you can.
12, 13 games left now. Is that enough of a sample size to get a feel for what with relative health to get a feel for combinations and lineups that you might want to use beyond that?
Yeah, but we also can't mess around and experiment. So I mean, we're gonna play the lineups that we think are gonna give us the best chance to win. But within that, we're getting a lot of information, so it's a fun time for us. I mean, to be back in the mix, to be playing well, to have Jimmy anchoring so much of what we do. I think there's room for improvement, and it's never easy to incorporate a guy mid-season, especially a guy who's going to be such a focal point. But Jimmy has made that easier because of his IQ and his ability to make everybody better.
Coach, I'm sure you're happy to have Steph back in the lineup tonight, but how nice was it to see the way the team played without him, and what can that do for the team's confidence?
It's a great night for us, just the perseverance, the ability to bounce back off of a really poor performance. That's the mark of a good team, and in particular when your best player's out. So it's a good night for us, but now we've got to follow through. As I said, there's no messing around. We got 13 left. We're right there in terms of climbing the ladder and getting a good playoff seeding, or going the other direction and ending up in the play-in. So we no room for error.
Coach, kind of piggybacking off the combinations, you guys are as close to whole as I know Gary's out tonight, but as close to whole as you've been the entire season. When you're trying to determine down the stretch of a game, who you're going to close or finish with, assuming that 3 of those spots are occupied by Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond. What factors into that decision for you?
who's playing well that night and matchups. The other night, Gary was the obvious guy to close the game because they had Damian Lillard out there, and Gary's our best perimeter defender. And we had the lead. You know, if we were down, maybe I would have gone with Moses or Buddy, you know, for the shooting. But it's usually the game tells you, you know, who you need to play, and you kind of go from there. But matchups definitely play a factor.
How did Brandon recover from coming back from injury like he did after the first game? And what do you think about his activity last game?
Brandon was great. He looked strong, active, very confident, and I'm excited to get him back. I mean, he's one of the guys who connects the game for us and makes it make sense. And we're going to need him tonight, you know, against this defense and some of the switching that they'll do. BP is one of the guys who can create a lot of offense with his brain and his activity, and so I'm thrilled to have him back.
Steve, I was wondering if I could follow up on your comment from the other night that Draymond is the best defender you've ever seen, because you have seen and played with a lot of great defenders. Yeah. Do you have a top three maybe, or what differentiates Draymond specifically?
Well, I have a top two, and that's Scottie, Pippen, and Draymond. And I think what makes Draymond different from Scottie is that Draymond is physically stronger and more capable of guarding low-post players. And I'll give Scottie a break because back then the low-post guys were Shaq and Patrick Ewing and Hakeem, and it was a very different game back then where it was very low-post-centric, and now hardly anybody goes down to the block. But what I see with Draymond when he's guarding the post, it's incredible when you then add on top of that his ability to guard pick and roll all the way at half court. I think Dennis Rodman is actually a great comp for Draymond in that regard, and I definitely should have Dennis in that conversation too. Probably those three: Dennis, Scottie, and Draymond, and you can see the parallels: the length, the physicality, the speed, the versatility. But ultimately, it's up here. It's the brain, and you know, Dennis and Scottie were two of the smartest defenders I've ever been around, and Draymond is he's amazing in that regard, just his ability to process.
He was talking a lot after last game.
Draymond was?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
About his defensive player of the year case. You don't have a vote, but I guess how would you see him stacking up against some of the other candidates for that particular award?
I mean, I said it. I think he's the best defender in the league, based on what I was talking about, the versatility within the game to play any role: guard the ball, guard the post, guard a wing, blow up a play from the weak side. I think he's the best in the league at that, and I think that combination is the most important thing. But other guys have great claims too. I mean, Rudy Gobert is amazing as a rim protector. What Wembanyama is doing is, breaking the mold of what players are supposed to be doing. But I'd be shocked if Draymond were not first team all NBA. I mean, shocked. And I don't even know. Do the coaches vote on that or no?
100 media personnel.
Yeah. So
Danny.
If it were up to the coaches, I guarantee you Draymond would be first team all NBA, because the other coaches feel what he brings defensively every night. And I talk to them about it. I mean, everyone in the league, every coach in the league is just blown away by Draymond's defensive acumen.
Should it be up to the coaches, especially for defense, when media might struggle sometimes?
I trust you guys implicitly. So always going to make the right judgment. So no, I don't know. I not really sure how that should work. Maybe do both, right? Maybe have they probably do something like that, don't they? Do a coach's poll or something? Or,
The All-Star stuff, obviously. The coach.
Yeah, that's right.
But for the postseason awards, with the All-NBA teams, the VPL, that's just media.
Yeah.
How careful are you still being with Kuminga's minutes, or do you even need to be anymore?
No, there's no need to be careful with the minutes. It's really about, hey, we're playing great. We've been playing really well for a long time. So I'm not breaking that up. I mean, when you find something in this league, you stick with it. And we got a lot of guys playing great, playing really good basketball. And so JK just got to come out and play as hard as he can. And when he does that, good things happen. And then the season unfolds from there. Yeah, you don't go away from what's working.
What are you seeing with him on the offensive end and him trying to reform with what this team is now?
Yeah, he's finding his way. It's a very different team now compared to when he left. When he left, as I've talked about it many times, he was playing the best basketball of his career. We were running things through him, and so he had the ball in his hands a lot, and he was very successful. But now we have Jimmy Butler, and we're going to put the ball in Jimmy's hands. That's an easy decision. Jimmy and Steph are going to have the ball. So I think JK is having to play off the ball a little bit more, and that's a tougher assignment for him. He's much more comfortable with the ball. So a little tricky for him, but we talk, and he understands that it's about winning, and as long as he goes out and plays as hard as he can with energy when he's out there, then good things are going to happen. And we know how this league works. Things change in a moment's notice, and he's just got to keep plugging away. Thank you, guys.